Happy New Year, well, that was like way too exaggerated. Happy New Year, everyone. What's going on, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing more stuff on the blah blah. I don't even need to say it anymore because that's like the main focus of absolutely everything we're doing right now. So the goal for today is to get like all of the smaller stuff like wrapped up and done with all the car, all the stuff that I've just been like putting off and not wanting to do right now. So we're gonna be doing that today. I would love to be able to throw this motor back in the car, but I'm waiting on the clutch. So I ordered it from Rally Sport Direct. When I ordered it, it said it was like 8 business days out, and that 8 business days turned into 60 business days. So I have to wait until the 4th or at least Monday to be able to hear back from ACT to see what the estimated actual ship day is. Like, I need that clutch like right now, like as soon as possible. So if they are unable to get it for me, I'll cancel my order through Rally Sport Direct and I'll find someone who has an ACT clutch in stock. But I'm not gonna worry about that today. We're gonna get all the smaller stuff like knocked out. So we're gonna get spark plugs put back on the motor, coil packs in there. We'll get the power steering pump put back on there. We can't really do the alternator until it goes back in the car because we need the AC compressor on there. So we'll get power steering pump on there, coil packs, spark plugs, anything else that I can bolt right onto that engine. And then we have a whole bunch of like smaller, tiny stuff that we need to get knocked out. That knocked out first. This situation, I still don't have a battery tie down for this thing, so I'm going to try to make this Grimspeed battery mount that I already have in the garage work, and we can just use that mini Odyssey if we want to. Like I said, coil pack, spark plugs are going to go back in the car. I need to get this dash cam in the car and get all the wiring done with, just so it's one less thing in the trunk. We need to finish fixing this headlight so that way we can get it back in the car. This is our SMY gauge cluster for our AEM gauges in there. And then there's a plethora of other fun things that we need to do back here, just because I'm trying to minimize how much stuff we actually have laying around, so that way we can just get this project going. This can go in the for sale pile also. Let's start this off with the motor stuff. Like I said, basic stuff. I'm just gonna be bolting this stuff back onto the car. I'm gonna be getting that power steering pump bolted back on real quick. I don't understand why so many of these holes are just like totally screwed. Like that one, I didn't even do that. The threads were just like hanging onto the bolt when I pulled it out last time. Like, ridiculous. That one I was able to clean up with just a tap, and I don't need to put a helicoil in there. So our power steering pump is on, good to go. Our spark plugs, coil packs are back in, tightened down, nice and like comfy in there, I guess you could call them. So that's probably about the extent of what I can do on this for right now. I did get a header ordered and the front mount intercooler for the car, so we're going to be rocking a Cobb front mount intercooler and a Perrin Header. It's just neither of those are brands that I would prefer to run for those parts, but with availability of parts right now, I'm like extremely limited on who has what and what the shipping times on everything are. So Cobb front mount intercooler is a good option. Perrin Header, hopefully it doesn't melt my radiator fans like it did last time. But now that that's kind of situated and taken care of, I want to get the interior of the car work done a little bit. So we need to get our gauge bezel in there with our AEM gauges. Right here we have our SMY gauge cluster. Let me get this open real quick and I'll show you guys what this looks like. The difference is so noticeable, right? So I mean, the only thing that's added is the little 2 gauge holes for the gauges to go in. These are 52mm gauge pods. They'll fit our AEM ones perfectly. This is the old one right here. It's literally a direct replacement. I am going to take that little skirt, put it on this one. We'll get this one in the car with all gauges. I'll disconnect the fuel pump. We'll toss a battery in the car. We'll test it to make sure the gauges come on. And if that's good, we'll keep chooching right along here just to get all this stuff knocked out. So to install this, it's literally just those 2 screw holes right up there. Slide the gauges in from the backside, the wiring, feed the wiring in, get the gauge in there, screw it all down, good to go. Well, our gauges are now in and they work, which is good. So I have the fuel pump disconnected right now. I just went in the back and just disconnected it. So we have boost on the left, air fuel ratio on the right. I really dig this gauge setup with the SMY cluster. I think it looks the cleanest. You don't have like random gauges. I do like the gauges up there. And at some point we will do them, but you don't have like random gauges on the A-pillar, like stuck on up there, maybe on like the steering column or something like that. So we have, okay, come on, where's the keyhole? So we have power to both of them, which is good. So air fuel ratio is getting power. There's no sensors in either one of these right now, but we are solid. This thing's super easy to install too. Those two screws that I showed you guys up there are the only way that it bolts in. There's two clips on the bottom that just like push in. Run your gauge wires however you want. I've dedicated videos on how to install both of these. I'll link it up in the corner if any of you guys are installing gauges like this, but these came out absolutely awesome. Incredibly happy with it. We can monitor stuff on our access port right here. We have dedicated boost there, dedicated air fuel ratio right there. So this can now be like checked off the list. Just check it right off. And then I also forgot to screw back in the gauge cluster, so I had to pull them all back out, screw that back in. But now that that is done, what I want to do next is get this guy like completed, get it back in the car. It is just, this headlight has seen so many better days right now. At some point we'll swap it out for another set, but the last thing that I have to do with this, and this tab, like I couldn't save the tab, you guys. I couldn't save it. I do apologize, but we need to do one more thing with this. So let me flip this guy over here. On the bottom, that screw is like totally stripped out. So what I have are some like metal inserts where if you heat them up and then you stick them into the plastic, it'll melt around it and it'll lock it in place. So that way we're able to like put a screw in there to keep this thing like fully sealed down. I just want to try to mitigate as many leaks that this headlight could have. I guarantee you it's going to leak some type of moisture in there. It's just the seal on it, I tried to replace it the best I could. This headlight is just past saving. So let's get this taken care of. Let's get this headlight thrown back in the car. So that way we have like a full front end back on here. So that way we're not like missing a headlight anymore like we have been the past like couple weeks. So let's get that guy in. I genuinely don't understand how like some of this stuff just gets so screwed. Get it? Because it's a screw. So these were the original screws on the right. I swapped over to these ones on the left. I tried doing these little plastic insert things and I was just having no luck with them. So like my idea here was to heat this up like very hot to the point where it would melt the plastic when I tried to like put it in there. Wasn't working, so I just upped the screw size a little bit. Like I said, I need to replace this headlight anyways, so for now this will totally work. Let's get this thrown in the car now, get both headlights bolted back down. Look, that would have worked so well too if that tab would have cooperated. I don't even know how I'm gonna mount this headlight up. I think I have one mounting tab on here now. I'll figure something out. So let's get this thrown back in. Let's test the headlights, make sure both low beams and high beams work. Just because I was having some issues with this headlight with the low beam not wanting to work sometimes. So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do the stuff. Let's do all the stuff. Oh, and actually before I forget, so with the AEM gauges in there, I have had people ask me how to get them in using the rubber bands. What I suggest you guys do, and what worked absolutely perfect for me, is get a little bit of oil, your choice, your weight, whatever you'd like to use, and just lube up the outside of the actual rubber band, and it should slide right in. That's what I did with both of those ones in there, and they slid in absolutely perfect. Just wanted to touch on that before I forgot. Bam, we have headlights again. They're both back on the car. Everything works functionality-wise. The first time I did the test, that low beam didn't come on. I just forgot one of the connectors. While I was in there, I also pulled off this like beat crash beam. Like there's a huge dent in it in there for some reason. Whole reason that came off is because we are swapping to a front mount intercooler that comes with a new crash bar. So that one had to come off at some point anyway. So I figured while I was up here, might as well pull it off. One more thing is I have this set of hella horns in the garage. They're a lot newer looking than these old ones that are in here. So we're just gonna swap over to these ones right here. I don't even think these are wired in properly either, because whenever the horn goes off, it's going off of that horn instead of these horns. So I'm gonna swap the wiring around on here, see if I can get this figured out. This car does have the upgraded security system, so I don't know if me swapping over these horn relays is gonna do anything, but I'm just gonna try like unplugging that one and swapping the two connectors and like seeing what happens. I got a little out of hand with this, but it's good that I got out of hand with it because it gets us out of the way. So I found something out. With this car, you have two horn wires. You have one that comes out there, which is your primary horn and primary alarm system. And then there was like a sensor here. There was a sensor down here, and then there was a secondary horn wire here. What I did is lift up the AC condenser a little bit, shoved it back here, put it underneath of the radiator mount, zip tied them down. This is for the fan, don't worry about that. And I left the other horn unplugged. I'm not quite sure what it's there for because the horn and the security system work with just these. So these are our new Hello horns off of Melanie's old car. I honestly don't know if they'll fit with the front mount. I think the front mount will end up, it'll be close. It'll definitely be close. If I need to get a bracket for those, I'll get a bracket for them, but I need horns on this car because I don't have a primary horn, and without those, we don't have horns. So we're rocking the Hello horn. So the only thing left to do with those is either fab up or just make a wiring harness for it. I could like salvage that one and cut wires and make it work from that one, but I think I'll just do it the easy way. I might just buy a pre-made one. This isn't a huge concern to me right now. It is something that, it's the video of where we fix all the little stuff though. I don't know. We might fix that. Let me think about it for a sec. We had an emergency flooding situation, so I had to close the garage door. The garage got a little wet, but that's all right. It's like raining stupid hard out there, but we're just gonna do the wiring for this. I just want to get it done with. All of these, I'm gonna have to do it at some point, so might as well do it now. I'm just gonna use this old wiring harness just to steal all the wires off of those. We'll make our own wiring harness that's better. All we need is power and ground. So all I'm gonna do is pull power from the OEM horn harness, run power to both of, run power from this horn and that horn into a Y, have it come into that one. And then I'll have just a ground coming off of this, a ground coming off of that, splicing together into one, and then we'll just probably ground it right up there to the chassis. Probably that old hole that we're not using anymore, just to get these things wired in, so that way we don't have to do it later, just because I know at some point we're gonna have to do it because we need horns on this car. So let's make a wiring harness. Let's use that. All right, so I got a little carried away with the wiring harnesses, but if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right. So I did salvage the wires out of that old one just because I didn't have any wire around the garage, but everything came out awesome. It looks like a harness that you'd buy from like Grimspeed or something along those lines. So we have wire sheathing, we have our ground, and then we have the ground for the connector. I just decided to do independent grounds on both of the horns. So let's get this thing in, check the horns, make sure they work. All right, I'm like a child. I'm a little excited for this, so check it out. All right, so when it's just like locking the car, it's not terribly loud, but I also think that might be because the battery's dying. But if you come in here and you hit the horn, it's so much louder. So, I mean, we have a working horn. That's all I really cared about at this point. So our horns work. We have a way to signal to other drivers. Little pumped for how the harness came out. So, I mean, I can clean this up a little bit and zip tie this up and just, and unplug it a little bit more. But I need to, hold up. Wait a minute, was only one horn working when we just did that? Nope, okay, they're just a little softer. But anyways, harness. So came out really nice, like professional looking harness. Everything's like wire tied up. Everything looks good. We have heat shrink over all of our connections. Everything's soldered where solder was needed because I didn't have a butt connector for right here, but that works. So our horns are done, and now it's one less problem we have to worry about. So far we have working headlights, working horns, bash bars off just to prepare for the front mount intercooler, which we might even have to lose the horns and relocate those, but for the time being, they're there. Motor, power steering pump is on, spark plugs are back in, coil packs are back in. What else do we have over here? Dash cam, oh yay. Totally looking forward to running all this wiring. Yeah, let's just get this out of the way. Let's get that done with also. So the dash cam's actually gonna have to wait. I don't have any 3M tape, 3M like double-sided tape to be able to stick the dash cam up to the window to be able to gauge how long I should make the wires or not. So gonna have to wait till tomorrow or something else. But I guess I'm gonna end it here because I'm still waiting for a ton of parts to come in. We get our fuel system conversion on Monday. The downpipe hasn't shipped, the header hasn't shipped, the intercooler hasn't shipped, the clutch hasn't shipped, the flywheel hasn't shipped, and I really need those to ship to get this motor in the car. So hopefully these companies like kick it into high gear because I literally can't wait for these people to like wait 60 plus days. I've talked to a couple distributors and I know there's one company who has 62 ACT clutches in their inventory. Just give one to Rally Sport Direct to send to me. But anyways, that's enough ranting on. So what did we get done today? We got the headlight wired in, fixed, good to go. Horns are wired in, good to go. The gauges are set up good to go. We removed the front crash bar, redid the security system in the front end of the car, so it still works, and we still have functional horns, which is a good thing. Power steering pumps on the car, just because I wanted to get that out of the trunk, just because there's fluid in there. Spark plugs, coil packs back in the car. So we're making progress. We're just being held up by a lot of like companies right now, just waiting for parts to actually ship. It's a little sad. I'm a little sad. But anyways, that's all I got for you guys. So once again, happy 2021. Expect a ton more videos coming as soon as we actually get parts in. So next video will probably be us doing the fuel system on the 05 STI, getting that straightened out. Never mind, I'm still waiting for 2 injectors to ship also. I have 2 injectors, so we can at least get everything mocked up and kind of all the fuel line and everything done with. But anyways, that's all I got for you guys on this one. So if you like the video, you know what to do. Go ahead, hit that like button and turn it black, blue, purple, green, silver, turquoise, white, gold. I don't know what color it turns. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit your boy up one of these corners, because we got a lot of stuff coming up in 2021. That's going to be awesome. And with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, homies.